Rory and Moore left the podcast. Okay, cool. Then Olivia Dope happens. Okay, cool. Then Charlamagne and Angel Show speaks on it. Okay, cool. And then I just heard yesterday, what's her name? Eboni K. Williams had a story about Joe. I'm like, well, bitch, what's the tea? I just want to say, first and foremost, Joe is completely wrong in this situation. And I actually signed up for his Patreon because I wanted to get the tea. And he said he wasn't putting out his episode on YouTube or whatever. He was just strictly putting his stuff on Patreon. So I was like, whatever, I'm going to sign up because I want to get tea. And I really was invested into what was going on. And I like the JBB pod. I don't know so much now. It's like, I'm just like, well. But anyway, I say that to say, when I went to his Patreon, Joe Budden has a really core fan audience where his audience doesn't hold him accountable. And that's what else pissed me off. That last week's episode was about accountability. It would have been a beautiful transition to talk about accountability and then just wave into Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. So I'm reading the comments on the Patreon. I'm just like, wow, people just really rooting for fucking Joe Budden. And it's just like, this nigga's dead wrong. First and fucking foremost, when that nigga went on fucking live with goddamn shades on talking about there was a 400K discrepancy, I said, bitch, ain't no such thing as no 400K discrepancy. That's called grand larceny. That's called stealing. Okay? Bitch, I never had $1 million deals. But 400K to me, it ain't no fucking discrepancy, my nigga. Like, that seems intentional. Because that's virtually almost $500,000. Like, how you have a 400K discrepancy? Like, am I bugging? Like, that's fucking insane. And it's just so unfortunate. I think one of the top things, too, that we need to take out of this, too, is that a lot of us want to be creators, we want to be entrepreneurs, we want to work with our friends, we want to do dope shit. Like, honestly, doing a podcast is fun. You get to talk shit. Their podcast was revolved around pop culture, revolved around music, revolved around rap, hip-hop music, all that good stuff. And the three of them appear to love that stuff, and they get to talk about something they love and then go the fuck home. And those are things we look at and we like, yo, I wish I had that. And say what you want to say. Joe Budden Podcast is one of these top podcasts, especially, you know, that talks about pop culture and rap and hip-hop music. You know, it was such a big podcast. You know it was big because we wouldn't even give a fuck about this topic if it wasn't a big podcast. So it was just crazy to me, you know, that we see people doing a career like this, right? And we're watching this and we think like, that's something I want to do, and we never know what's going on behind the scenes. And this is the other reason why I love watching podcast videos, because you can see the tension. Like, if you watch Joe Budden Podcast on YouTube, you already knew what it was. Like, from early on, I knew there was some weird energy between them. But I was just like, I don't know, maybe that's their friendship, I don't fucking know. So I say that to say a lot of these issues that they're dealing with is giving me very much just entrepreneurial shit. Because look, people want to talk about people who do 9 to 5s, 10 to 6, whatever shift you fucking do, a regular day job, but a lot of that shit you wouldn't even deal with at a 9 to 5. You feel me? Like, I was just thinking like, fuck, I'm working with my friend and they robbing me of a 400K discrepancy, bitch. I can't relate. But, you know, I remember, and y'all gotta think, Rory and Moore was going to work every fucking day with that shit on their head. Have y'all ever experienced not getting paid? Like, I have experienced that before. Let me tell y'all. Should I say the company? No, because I might apply for a job there. So I was working at a company and my check took a month to come, bitch. If you ever been in a situation where you're supposed to get money, you cannot sleep at night. Like, dead ass. Like, when it comes to money, you can't sleep when you know niggas got your money, my guy. Like, so I'm just thinking, like, with Rory and Moore, they friend handle the money. So you thinking like, okay, my friend got my fucking bread, my shit gonna come quick. The niggas is playing, so Joe playing with their funds, don't want to show them fucking accounts and all that shit. You know they head was spinning. So anyway, I was working at this company. My check didn't come for a month because something happened with my employee ID number. Basically what they did is they made me start working before I got my employee ID number. So, you know, they kind of played my shit because they was like, you want to start working now? Da-da-da-da. Once my employee ID came in, I was going to get all that money. But I don't play like that. That shit fuck with my spirit. You feel me? So I had to email corporate. But you see, that's the benefits of working at companies when you have regular 9-to-5 jobs, right? There's a corporate office, right? These companies been around for years. The company I was working at, I think, might have been around for like 60, 50 years. I'm not sure. But they've been around very long. Just know that, okay? So when you work in a 9-to-5 job setting, you have a certain comfort level that your check gonna come. Like the way you get a job, they send you a fucking offer letter. You see how they said Joe and them had a contract, but 1 minute he wanted to change them to salary and all that. You ain't dealing with that at no 9-to-5, my nigga. Like a real, actual, well-known fucking company, you're not dealing with that shit, my nigga. They send you an offer letter. It tell you your hourly rate or your salary rate. It tell you your benefits. It tell you what you said you didn't want. Like, I remember one time I said I didn't want vision. Bitch, now if I get a job, I definitely need vision. After that, I didn't want vision. It said she denied vision. Like, it just breaks everything down. Every 2 weeks, you get your fucking check, and it's about the same amount of money. If you work maybe 38 hours, it might 38.65 hours. It might be a little couple of dollars off, but mostly your check look the same every fucking 2 weeks. So, you know, we kind of look up to people and idolize these people who have podcasts and they got to fill these 1099s and do all this bullshit. But it just goes to show that, you know, no matter where you work, you might deal with some bullshit. Like, you would think with people in a career like podding and such a, who gain successful for something that's so independent, they would do right. Not they, well, Joe would do right. And even, you know, we do have to hold Rory and Maul to a certain standard, right? Because they talking about all this shit started popping off after the Spotify deal. The Spotify deal, they got that in about 2018, because I remember I was living on Bushwick when they got that deal. So that was like that was a minute ago. Y'all niggas was still going to work, knowing that this nigga didn't want to show y'all accounting. He was being very disrespectful. The other shit that baffled me, it was so much shit that Joe Budden did that really baffled me. And when Rory and Maul was speaking, I was just like, are they dead ass or are they dead ass? But that's like the other thing I go back to say. Like, you don't have that security in some ways when you're creative. And y'all know that. You know, I would think a creative knows after 2020, you don't have that sense of job security or whatever the case may be. You don't have job security at a 9-to-5 either, because bitch, you get fired any day, any hour. But it was just like, maybe they felt like they couldn't quit, because they're like, when you come from a potting world, and that's why, like, you know how you see actors and now they work at like a fast food restaurant. It's like when you come from a world of entrepreneurship and creativity, where do you go after that? I would think that, you know, they would be able to do a lot of things next. I think they could get any job next, not any, but, you know, I'm pretty sure they're pretty connected, but we don't know. That's the thing, we don't know. But the other thing that baffled me too with Joe Budden was that, how the fuck was Rory and Maul not invited in on these meetings with these deals? Like, I don't give a fuck about nothing. Joe Budden talking about it's my network, but they're in that podcast with you. They help you brand and build that podcast. I don't give a fuck what he think, because he's the big head honcho. If I sign a contract with you, and let's say they was getting what, 20% of all deals. If I'm getting 20% of anything, a deal from Spotify, a deal from Tidal, a deal from whoever, bitch, I need to be in that room. Respectfully. Fuck you mean? Even if you say, look, we're going to go into this room, but y'all can't talk. granted, that's a bit much, but at minimum, you're not gonna tell me I can't be in a room on a deal. And it's not that he didn't even say they couldn't. It was just like he wasn't inviting them. Like, how they got a Patreon deal and they didn't find out till we fucking found out. A nigga filmed the podcast episode and got a Patreon deal and announced the shit on the fucking podcast, bitch. I said, the fuck is wrong with Joe Budden? Y'all think this shit is appropriate? Like real talk. Like, I've been watching this shit all week and I'm just like, this nigga is actually crazy. I'm convinced Joe Budden is actually fucking crazy. Like, how you get a deal and don't tell your peoples that you on a podcast on? That shit is wild. That shit is wild, disrespectful. It's fucking insane. And it's shady. Yeah, I'm gonna want to see accounting too, because now you doing deals and you not telling me to. You tell the people. I should have been in the fucking room. Like, that shit is wild. He's bugging out. Like, Joe, you was really bugging out. Like, you're really crazy. Like, I hope he really sat down and realized what he did wrong. Like, I feel like he got so ego-driven that he didn't even feel they deserve to be in those rooms and things like that. And it's just bad all around. The other part I took out of the Rory and more little pod situation that they had, that they filmed that What the F Media Studios. Shout out to What the F Media Studios, because Weezy from Horrible Decisions made that, and I keep seeing that damn blue brick background every fucking way, bitch. But anyway, Rory and Maul actually took their cut from Patreon and gave it to the staff, because clearly they saying that the Joe Budden Network staff is underpaid. So this is my thing, bitch. I had to fling my hair the fuck back. I said, how the fuck your staff underpaid? But you got 2 new podcasts. You got See the Thing Is and Girl I Fucking Guess. And we're going to talk about that. I said, this network ain't going to last, because your staff shouldn't feel like they underpaid. Rory shouldn't feel like he should have to give his cut to your staff. That's a big fucking problem for me. Like, you trying to run a network, but your staff is already underpaid, my nigga. That's a huge, massive problem. But you got other podcasts? Make it make sense. And then he said that they don't get a cut from YouTube. He said Rory asked him, can he get some ownership? Nigga said, Joe said no. He said, can I get some money from the YouTube? Joe said no. I, as a JBP pod listener, watch on YouTube. So I would think they would get a percentage of that. I thought that was just baffling that they didn't get even a percentage of that. I don't know. Like a little something from that. So now this is where I want to dive into See the Thing Is. I think See the Thing Is might last long, but I don't think Girl I Guess is gonna last long. So we're gonna talk about all these things. Y'all getting does he? Alright, so let's do, as we talk about episodes. So See the Thing Is a podcast with Bridget Kelly and Mandy B from Horrible Decisions podcast, right? Also known as Full Court Pumps. And it originally had Olivia Dope on it. Olivia Dope left on episode 18 or 19. Or whatever. I listened to See the Thing Is. I actually enjoyed the podcast or whatever. Girl I Guess has Karen Civil and Ming Lee. I can't get jiggy with that podcast. Like, it's just not, like, I can't say connected. I don't know why. I don't know. Something about it is just not hitting for me. But See the Thing Is I enjoy. So let's talk about See the Thing Is. So I remember one episode, I don't remember what episode it is, and I still got my receipts, but I remember Mandy asked, the episode actually that Joe Budden was on, she asked Joe, like, what about the YouTube? You didn't get money from the YouTube. And I'm thinking, like, bitch, you ain't never getting no money from the YouTube. Because if Rory and Maul was getting money from the YouTube, y'all damn sure ain't getting money from the YouTube. And so I think they're going to run into some issues with that. But the thing with Bridget Kelly and Mandy seemed like the type, like, she, like, not like Joe, like, want to fuck him, but she likes Joe, I guess. And Bridget Kelly was friends with Joe Budden for so long. So I feel like it's going to take time before they gotta jump ship on the network. Now, Girl I Guess, Karen Cyril is cool with Joe. Ming Lee, on the episode where they all spoke on it, because everybody on the network spoke on all the shit that was popping off. Ming Lee seemed like she was like, me and Joe, we never really knew each other. So once you on that palette where you don't even really give a fuck about the nigga, you already know your time is different, bitch. And even if you watch their last episode, it's only 42 minutes, so that shit is dumb short. Karen couldn't even look at Ming the whole episode. Ming looked at Karen and said, are we going to hold Joe accountable for his part and what happened with Olivia Dope? And Karen was just giving me client, didn't want to talk bad about Joe. Okay, I get it. That's your friend. Maybe you don't want to disrespect him, but you can still hold somebody accountable without disrespecting them. You feel me? Like, and for me, I felt like Ming, and then Ming said she was getting her hair or makeup done or something when she found out about the Olivia Dope shit. And she said she got up and she had to leave the room. Bitch, you know when you get up and you feel like you gotta leave the room, you know you about to go on 1,000, my nigga. Like, so I just feel like that pod not gonna last long. Because I feel like Ming gonna feel like her money moving funny. I feel like she don't fuck with Joe. And honestly, if I was Karen, Ming, fucking Ish, Ice, my nigga, Parks, Mandy, Bridget, I would be jumping the fucking shit. Because if he played with Rory and Maul's accountant, y'all think that nigga not playing with y'all funds? And he not even paying his staff properly? Stop. And Olivia Dope, I'm just so happy because one thing about Olivia Dope, if you watch those episodes prior, episode 1 to episode 18, she was the fan favorite. She wasn't even my fan favorite at the time. I had to wait. Like, I liked Olivia Dope, but at the time I kind of liked Mandy because I just felt like she was just a lot. But then she just be talking over motherfuckers, child. I can't take the talking over. But everybody loves Olivia Dope, and I'm so happy she's getting the flowers she deserves now. Like, I love to see, like, I saw her face on the Breakfast Club. I saw her face on Unwind with Tasha K. Like, I feel like her face is being shown because her music and her mixes that she used to put on the See Anything podcast, they would put, like, music mixes on the podcast. Like, before they introed it, lit. Like, she could DJ. Like, her music is lit. Like, and, of course, she's melanated, so I'm just repping for her, period. So I'm just happy to just see her face. And I feel like her face is being introduced to more people, so I'm happy for that. I'm sad that it had to happen this way. Her talking about the sexual assault with Joe. Yeah, I just felt like that, you know, that, I remember that episode. I did feel like Joe was ODing. It's sad, you know, it's sad, and it's just like, Joe. And he's the type of person that's like mad, rowdy, and raunchy. And I feel like too, this is what I'm saying with Rory and Mom, even Mandy and Bridget, and Ming and Karen. A nigga like that, you already know, can't lead no shit. I'ma say it. I'ma say it. Like, people who's too outlandish and out of pocket like that can't run no fucking company, my nigga. Like, you gotta lower your tone. You gotta you gotta chill the fuck out, my nigga. Like, people like that, you already know what time it is. Like, those people you kind of stay a distance from. Like, if you want to fuck with them, you fuck with them. But you thought that nigga could run a network? That nigga got a Spotify deal and just felt like he could run a network. His ego got too big. And it's sad. Like, I really am genuinely hurt for Rory and more. Like, I feel like we all laughing, we joking about this shit. But we really missing a point that all they kept asking for was the counseling. Not only was their money played with, it appears Joe was very rude and disgusting. Even on the podcast, that nigga was rude and disgusting. They're out of a job right now, technically. They're starting their podcast, but it's a lot. The shit is just not funny. The shit is not cool. And I want to talk about the Eboni K thing too. The Eboni K said she fell out with him after State of the Culture. She used to talk to him a lot about different things, and then she said that she felt that Joe probably got mad at her because she went to the Black Effect Network with Charlamagne, and he stopped talking to her from then. She did say, I think, to my understanding, she said that she asked him 3 times about, you know, starting her pod, and I don't think he never really offered her, you know, a slot. And thank God, because Eboni K. Williams is a goddamn lawyer. Eboni K. Williams is a strong black woman. Eboni K. Williams would have sued the fucking socks off of Joe. You hear me? Eboni K. would have fucking took that fucking mirror he had right off his fucking head, bitch. She would have fucking took Park's house, the fucking paintings in the back, bitch. She would have took the camera equipment. She would have took the network. Everything would have been gone. Because Eboni K. would have been the kind of bitch you could say, let me see accountant, and Joe could say no to her. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Eboni K. dodged a bullet. Let's be honest. Because, shit, Joe dodged the bullet. Because Eboni K. looked like she would have gave them motherfuckers a run for their fucking money. You hear me? She would have done took everything. She would have took the fucking see the thing is set. She would have took horrible decisions. She would have took Bridget Kelly's fucking masters. Like, girl. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Eboni K, you in the right place. Cause, child, Joe Budden couldn't afford no damn lawyer on his fucking network. Okay, so it just looks like Joe is just messy all around. You know, praise to him, because I'm still, you know, I'm a woman of God first. That's my favorite line. But, yeah, it's just unfortunate. Shout out to the party life, you know. It seems like working with people, working with friends is a lot. And it's so unfortunate, you know. It's crazy to see all this shit play out. It really is. It's really fucking insane. And to think, like I said, I just feel for Rory and Maul the most out of all of this. So, yeah, girl. That's all I got for y'all this week on that shit. If something else happens next week, I'll be here. Because it seems like it just doesn't stop. When does it end? You know? Shout out to Ish and Ice, you know. I don't think I'll really be tuned in. Because, you know, they finna get scammed too, bitch. So, everybody finna get scammed the fuck out clean. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens next with the JBP pods. Because it ain't looking good right now. You feel me? So, you just finished watching a clip from a podcast called Britt Says, the podcast. BRITTSAYS. If you want to watch that full episode, you can click right up here. And if you want to stream and listen to Britt Says, the podcast, this is available on all DSPs. Such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, iHeartRadio, anything you can imagine, you'll find Britt Says the podcast. So go ahead out, listen, leave a review, and 5 stars. And while you're here, subscribe to my channel.